class up your home and get rid of this dumb old door lock with this awesome high-tech keypad entry lock. What's up everyone, welcome back to Smart Home Dad, and today we are going to tackle the VOCOlinc T-Guard Smart Lock system. This is a fantastic way to add a Apple HomeKit integrated smart front door deadbolt lock to your house. And as always guys, if you like this video and the other videos that we have on the channel, please subscribe. Please ask any questions and leave any comments below about this product or anything else associated with a smart home, especially Apple HomeKit enabled smart homes. Now jumping right into it, the T-Guard Bluetooth Smart Lock Deadbolt is a great alternative to a standard home deadbolt lock. This allows you to have a keypad entry through the outside coming in, and also Apple HomeKit is enabled to where you can actually control this with your voice. This is a great accessory that allows you and other people to access your home when you give them permission with special key code entries. It's a very cool product, and it is a huge upgrade in terms of value at your house. But I think one of the best and most important features here for me and my family is this extra key code entry that you can use. This allows family to get to the house and easily get in without having a key necessarily. Of course, there is a key if you still need to use that, but basically turn your old deadbolt into a smart deadbolt locking system. Now, a few specs to keep in mind is that you can get this in a aged bronze color or a satin nickel color. For our house, we went with nickel because that would match the existing door handle itself. You can use this on a 1 3/8 fitting or a 1 3/4 door thickness fitting. And as far as the deadbolt, it comes in a 2 3/8 or a 2 3/4 setting. You can modify that as needed. Now, inside the box, you're going to get an instruction manual with a template if you're actually installing a brand new door, and this will be the very first lock set that you put on it, in addition to a sync up guide that helps you get the actual keypad synced up with Apple HomeKit and onto the VOCOlinc app and the HomeKit app itself. Continuing through the boxes, you get different sets of screws, adapter pieces, actual keys for the manual use of the deadbolt itself, and a strike plate to fit the deadbolt. This is a really important part. I actually used this one. You don't necessarily have to, as long as the deadbolt hole that it slides into is big enough for this actual set. As you continue to go through the instructions, the first thing you need to do is go ahead and measure your existing deadbolt from the door itself to the center of the existing deadbolt and determine what size you're going to need. In my case, I needed a 2 3/8, so I went ahead and adjusted that deadbolt to be that length. And then your next step is to go ahead and remove all of the existing old deadbolt parts. Now, once all that's out, go ahead and make sure that your deadbolt is set properly. Make sure that the up is up and that your arrows are pointing up as well. And go ahead and insert that into the old deadbolt hole. And what you're going to have to do is probably work through this. It took me some time to get this just right, including having to kind of hammer it away and maybe take a flathead screwdriver and chisel some of that wood out just a little bit, just so you could get that to go flush and make sure that it is center in the deadbolt hole. That is extremely important. And then your next step is to go ahead and put the keypad through the deadbolt hole itself and line up the vertical deadbolt bar itself properly into the hole so that it sits properly in there. Make sure you add some tape to hold the keypad flush to the door while you continue the rest of the install. And then the next part is to go ahead and install this back plate from that cover that we showed you before, and it'll screw into the keypad. And once you've put this in there, the keypad should be flush and tight to the door. Go ahead and install that. Make sure that the power wires are hanging out and the slit of the back plate that is included. And then at this point, you'll go ahead and take the keypad itself and plug it in. If you look in the instructions, they'll make sure that you line up the black lines that are on the top of the wire and make sure that it plugs in and matching with the black line that is hand drawn on the unit itself. Once you plug that in, I went ahead and tested just to make sure that the deadbolt was working properly, and it was. And that's a good sign to go ahead and screw the plate back onto the unit itself, which will attach it to the door. You'll notice throughout the video that I'm using just a hand screwdriver to do this. It is recommended that you do that. That's important so you don't accidentally strip any screws and that you can actually see as, for example, the deadbolt gets secured to the door. Make sure that it lines up properly. Now your next step is to go ahead and install this T-Guard keypad onto your VOCOlinc app itself. When you start to do this, it will, or it might actually have you go through a factory reset. I didn't have to do this myself, but it did go ahead and sync up properly onto my app when I added the 4 AA batteries that it does require on that back plate, the interior back plate. Now within the VOCOlinc, once it has actually synced up, you'll go ahead and do your normal HomeKit pairing process, and this is no different than any other Apple HomeKit pairing process that you've done in the past. It is a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi signal, so in my Orbi house, I have to unplug my satellite so I can create a weaker link so that this will actually sync up. And as you can see, it does get added. And when you do get it added in Apple HomeKit, you'll go ahead and change the name if you'd like to, and you can change the room. In this case, I forgot to go ahead and do that right here. So once I actually installed this, you can use the scene if you want to. I went back into the default room that always opens up when you add something new. I went ahead and modified and put this at the front because the front smart door lock, and renamed it just to say door lock so that when you're using Siri, you can say front door lock, and then it works properly from there. Now inside the VOCOlinc app itself is where you can actually go in and you can set individual passwords, and it's very smart. If you try to put in something too simple, it will kick it back and tell you that it either exists or that's not good enough, which is really cool and helpful. But go ahead and use whatever passcode that you want to use. You can set it up as a passcode that works all the time, a reoccurring schedule. You can use it on a temporary basis, which is really neat. And you can also set it, again, your start and until temporary use, and also as a once use password that only works for 24 hours. You can do this through many different groups and family. Really great setup there. Apologies for the shakiness of the video here, but this is a really neat feature where VOCOlinc, the logo will light up red when the door is locked, green when it has unlocked, and the keypad usage is pretty good. Sometimes I feel like I have to push a couple different times to make it work, but it works pretty well. I can't complain there. So guys, make sure that you go into this knowing that you're probably going to have to be able to do a little bit of woodworking around the deadbolt hole, trimming a little bit of wood out, maybe even chiseling a little bit out, and also that you might have these spots on your door where you had decorative deadbolt holders. You may have to go back in, sand that down, and repaint it. Thank you guys so much again for the time today. Please do subscribe, ask any questions down below. I'm here to help. Thank you guys again, and we'll see you on the next video.